First and foremost, I want to say all praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For surely his mercy endureth forever. My name is Captain Amon Bonloya, Captain over thousands, the TheeLightOfzion, the Elder Priest Kahan, and Minister Shalomah. And we're going to be, me and the two officers in the camp, we're going to be going over Haitian Flag Day, the history of the so-called Haitians, and their true identity according to the Bible. Because according to scriptures, they're not Haitian. You're not going to see Haitian in the Bible, And for our Haitian Creole speakers, si nous ta ale nan Bibla, ou pa jamwe moun Haitien nan Bibla, awe moun Egypt yo, awe moun petit Esawu yo, awe petit Ishmael, awe moun pep Israel yo. So le nou ale nan Bibla, ou pa jamwe moun Haitien, moun Gonaïve, moun Potay le Wogan, moun Jacques Mel, moun Jeremy, but awe moun Levi yo. So us Haitians, we descend from the tribe of Levi. So let me just add the officers in right now. And you guys could go ahead and introduce yourselves.
All right, shalom, I'm Officer Tazalot.
The fruit of Levi in Georgia.
Khan, shalom. This is Officer Hamar. Man got a big smile on his face.
You got YouTube so it doesn't echo.
Khan.
All praises. So let's open up Colossians 17. First, we want to go over the scriptures, how we know the so-called Haitians actually descend from the tribe of Levi. A lot of times we don't get to go into it as deep. We'll go into the history because of lack of time. So we're just going to go over it real quick, through the spirit of Yahawah, yahawashi. And at the end of the class, we're also going to do a question Q&A. At the end of the class, let me just type that up right now. We're also going to be doing a Q&A at the end of the class. You can type your questions into the chat. Give me 1 second, let me fix that. Okay, there you go. Let's open up Colossians 17. All right, the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahawashi, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him. Officer Hamad, go ahead and break that down for the people.
Right. So, whenever we give honor, whenever giving praise to the Most High, right? Whatever you do in your actions and your words, you always have to give praises to the Most High through Hamashiach Yahawashi. Why? Because Hamashiach Yahawashi is that door to the Most High. There's no way to the Most High without Hamashiach Yahawashi. So if you're going to pray to the Most High, you have to do it through Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? So everything you're doing in word or deed, your actions and reputation of Yahawashi, you always have to do it to the Most High through Hamashiach Yahawashi. Right? And I'll praise one more thing, right? Hamashiach Yahawashi is who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ today. Right?
That's right. Right. So let's go into it, right? So in the Western Hemisphere, right? So we see these people right here, the most disrespected, right? The most humiliated, the people with the most shame upon the earth right now. Out of the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called Haitian man, Haitian woman. When we look at these people, all we see is what we recognize them with is witchcraft, them coming from poverty, them coming with so little. But the true, your true identity for you, those of you that call yourselves Haitian, those of you that call yourselves Azos, those that call yourselves Haitian, is not Haitian. That's not who we are. Because in the Western Hemisphere in America, they just teach us you Haitian. For the other tribes, they tell us we eat cat, You know, we don't smell good. We don't have nothing. We can't dress. But according to the Bible, and according to the Most High, you know, it's actually in the flip side. You know, out of all 12 tribes of Israel, the Most High chose the so-called Haitian man to be his priest forever.
Yeah.
You know, you have brothers with so much hatred in their heart. They hate their brothers so much. They'll say that's over. You know, they say it's open to all Israel. That's nowhere in the Bible. That's nowhere in the Bible. And you know, sometimes brothers transition that into the truth. They hatred towards their own. But we're gonna go through the scriptures and show you how we know these people are actually from that tribe. Because you know, you have a lot of our people in this truth. They want to bash the 12 tribes chart and say it's fake, it's false. Ariah lied, and it wasn't even Ariah. It wasn't even Ariah. So let's go to Ezekiel 36 real quick. We're gonna go through a couple of scriptures identifying how we know these people are the tribe of Levi first. We're in Ezekiel 36. Give me 1 second. Actually, I'll give it 37. Sorry. So go ahead. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse 15. The word of Yahawah came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, who is the Most High speaking to? He's speaking to Ezekiel. So we're going to see who had the breakdown for the 12 tribes chart first. The 12 tribes chart shows that predominantly who the 12 tribes of Israel is on the Western Hemisphere. So for you to understand who they are on the other side of the earth, you just reverse it. You know, or best example I would give you, so-called Haitians, they were gotten from Senegal, Benin, Togo. They were gotten from these areas in the west, predominantly in the west coast of Africa. So those tribes that they were getting from Senegal, Togo, and Benin will most likely be from the tribe of Levi. You just trace it right back, and you will know. Like the Gullah Geechee that was brought to America to farm rice. Scriptures say predominantly Judah will be here. Most likely this tribe could be from the tribe of Judah. Right. We just reverse it. So let's continue. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse 15. The word of Yahawah came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah, which is the so-called Negroes, Jamaicans, Haitians, and the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, which is the so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. The stick of Ephraim, for all the house of Israel and his companions. So he's telling them, listen, I want you to write on this board, because it says stick, but when you go into the Hebrew and the ematology, he's telling them to write it on a board. He said, write the names of the 3 tribes of the southern kingdom and write for the rest of the 10 for the northern kingdom, right? For all the house of Israel and his companions, and join them to one to another into one stick, and they should become one in their hand. So it's going to be on one complete board, one complete plank. Well, that's also wood, a plank. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, will thou not show us what thou meanest by these? So what's a good illustration of what's being shown right here? Let me tell you. So we're gonna go to it because right now, it's Shabbat. So we're gonna go into it, right? We're gonna go to. Let me find a great example. Great example. See if I can find a great example on Google. Let's see if Google can help me out. Let's see. All right, so let me use these brothers that was at camp right here. All right, these brothers are at camp. Let's see. Okay, that's a good one. All right, so majority of us that go out to camp and go out into the highways and byways and teach, what will we have? We'll have the signs, right? One of the signs, one of the most famous signs that we'll have is the 12 tribes chart. Now, when our people see all 12 tribes on that chart, what do they say to us? Officers, what do they usually say to us when they see the 12 tribes chart?
Mainly they're curious about the sign. They want to know.
And what do they say after
that? Usually we ask them their nationality, right? They want to know which tribe, what part, where they fit themselves in the tribe, in the chart.
That's right. Just like how it says here in Ezekiel, will thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Dan, Cuban,
Right.
Benjamin, Jamaicans, Haitians,
Mm-hmm.
Levi. Like, what is this about?
Exactly.
This is where it comes from. It wasn't REI that got the breakdown first. It
Mm-hmm.
was most I gave it to the priest Ezekiel first.
Right.
Ezekiel was given the understanding. The Most High just brought it back to us, brought it back to our remembrance through REI, using REI as that vessel. But it
Mm-hmm.
was Ezekiel who originally got it. So let's go to Genesis 49 real quick. We're
Come.
just going to put some light scriptures, light scriptures. So we're going to go to the book of Genesis 49. Now, to identify who the 12 tribes of Israel is today, you need 3 books and 3 chapters, well, in the Bible, to really pinpoint where they would be at in these last days.
Right.
You need Genesis chapter 49. You need Deuteronomy 33, and you need Revelation 7. Genesis 49 is a prophecy. Deuteronomy 33 give you more prophecy and characteristics, and Revelation 7 give you pinpoint geographical location of where they will be in these last days. So before we get to Genesis 49 and prophecy, let's show you where they would be at in these last days before we get into it. So, Officer Tazala, I want you to read Revelation 7 for me. Start from verse 1. Start from Revelation 7 and 1. No, I can't hear you. Officer Hamar, Revelation 7 and 1.
I got you. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Con, Book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the
four angels, right, Reed?
standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth.
Reed.
That the wind should not blow on the earth,
Reed.
nor on the sea, nor
Reed.
on any tree.
Reed.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God.
Having the what?
The living God.
Read.
And he cried with a loud voice to the 4
And what did he say with a loud voice?
To whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the tree. So we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads.
Read.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed.
So pay attention to Revelation 7 now, right? The way it's ordered, and I got to give a shout out to my brother Gorilla. He brought this to my observation in the scripture, and I had to go back and review it and see that this is sound. So in Revelation 7, the way the tribes are ordered down in Revelation 7 is not by coincidence, because the way they're ordered is not going by the kingdoms, by southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, or the northern kingdoms. It's not going by the order of birth. It's not going by the order in Deuteronomy 33 or Genesis 49 or anything of that nature. It's going in a specific order, showing you geographically where they will be in these last days. So go ahead and continue.
Con, Book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 140 and 4,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Of all the tribes of Israel,
of the tribe of Judah were sealed. Of Judah.
Now, first, who's Judah in these last? Who's Judah right in these last? Who's from the tribe of Judah? Who descends from the tribe of Judah?
So-called Negroes.
The so-called Negroes, or Black Americans. Where are they found?
In America.
They're found in America. Pay attention to that. The tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes, are found where? In the United States of America, under Satan's authority, like the elder priest Kahan says. Read.
Khan. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed. The tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000.
Now, where's the tribe of Reuben found?
America.
It's found in America. Who's the tribe of Reuben today? They'll be the Seminole Indians. So the first tribe we see as listed is Judah, right? Then Reuben, which is the Seminole Indians. Where are they found? both in the Americas, right here. Read.
Con. Shakia. Of the tribe of Gad were
Of the tribe of
sealed.
who?
The tribe of Gad
Read.
were sealed 12,000.
So the first three tribes listed is not in the order of their birth. It's not the order in Genesis. It's not the order in Deuteronomy. It's not even the order in Exodus, the first chapter. But we do see that these three tribes, the Black Americans, Seminole Indians, and Native Americans, where are they found? In the Americas.
Con.
That's showing us this is geographically pinpointing where the tribes would be. Read.
Of the tribe of Asher
Uh-huh.
were sealed 12,000.
Now we right here, right? Where the tribe of Asher predominantly at, right here. Read.
Of the tribe of Nephtalium were sealed 12,000.
Where's Naphtali? Right next to Asher. Going down on the east side. Read. I mean the west side. Read.
Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000.
Right. Now we're going to the Caribbeans. Read.
Of the tribe of Simeon were
The tribe of
sealed.
who?
Simeon.
The tribe of what?
Simeon.
Now Simeon, who's Simeon in these last days? The Dominican Republic, right? The Seminole, the Dominicans, read.
Were sealed 12,000.
Read.
Of the tribe of Levi were
tribe of
sealed.
who?
Levi
Read.
were sealed 12,000.
So right after the Dominicans are mentioned, right, the Simeonites is mentioned, then you see Levi is mentioned. Just like the previous tribes that's being listed with each other, Reuben, Gad, and Judah, they're together in this order. Asher and Naphtali is right next to each other, right? In this order. Then it lists on to Manasseh, which is also found in the land of Puerto Rico with Ephraim. Right next to them is who? Simeon, and then who?
Levi.
And then the so-called Haitian men, the Levites, according to the Bible. Now let's go back. Let's go to Genesis 49 now. We're going to go to Genesis 49. So in everything that we're saying when we go out and teach in the highways and byways, these brothers try to bash us and say that we're teaching some one West doctrine. There's no such thing as one West doctrine. It's like there's no such thing called LOZ doctrine, Sakari doctrine, GMS doctrine, IUIC doctrine. There's the Bible. The Most High gave us law, statute, commandments, and understanding of the scriptures. We push the understanding of the scriptures, not our own agenda. And it goes hand in hand with what the word is saying. So let's go to Genesis 49.
Con. Book of Genesis, chapter 49, start at verse 1.
Yeah, we're going to start from verse 1. Give me one moment. Let me share my screen again for the people. We're gonna start going in. We're gonna go into that history tonight too.
We can't hear you, King.
All right, go ahead. Genesis 49 and 1.
Book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourself together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So in Genesis 49 and 1, the Most High is giving Jacob prophecy through the Spirit to reveal to his sons what would happen to them in the last days. Is the man Simeon alive today? No. Is Levi alive today? No. Is the so-called the man Judah alive today? No. So what is he talking about? Because he said that he's gonna tell them what would happen to them in the last days. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do a little Bible comparison, right? We're gonna read Genesis 49 again. Give me 1 second. Read that one more time for me in the meantime.
Book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourself together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So that last days is talking about in the distant future. What would happen to them in the last days, in the times that we're living in right now? So when we go into the Good News Translation, let's see what it says. The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 1. And Jacob called for his sons and said, Gather around, and I will tell you what would happen to you in the future, not now. What would happen to them in the distant future? Because Deuteronomy 28 tells us the condition that they would be in. Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 33, for the Levites, Malachi 2, and Revelation 7 pinpoints specifically who's from what tribe. A lot of times brothers be mad because they're not from specific tribes, and they say, you don't know what tribe you really are. They stop teaching it. You know, understand? Stop saying you Judah, stop saying you Benjamin, stop saying you know, whatever tribe you're from, if that's the case. Because I know the Most High is not going to give Jacob a spirit of confusion, you know, the spirit of weed, and have us in confusion. So in Genesis 49, he's telling what would happen to them in the future. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go down to verse 5. Go down to verse 5. Read.
Verse 5. Simeon and Levi are
So we already identified who's the Simeonites,
The
the
Dominican.
so-called indigenous people of Dominican Republic. Read.
instruments of cruelty are
Read
in
that
their.
again.
Should I again?
Read that again from the top. Babu Shah.
Book of Genesis chapter 49, verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
So the scriptures say Simeon and Levi are brethren. Is that saying that they didn't know that they were brothers? No. This is what it's showing. This is what it's telling us. Here we go back. Did I have the map right here? I had it right here. It's telling us that they're brother, meaning they'll be coexisting on the same island. Right? They'll be coexisting in the same island. Just like in Revelation 7. The minute after it lists Simeon, it lists Levi right after.
Right.
Because they'll be dwelling in the same spot in the last days or in the GNT in the future. Read that again from the top.
Book of Genesis chapter 49, verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Instruments of what?
Of cruelty are in their habitations.
So the instruments of cruelty is what you would call Haitian voodoo.
Right.
And I believe it's called Santa Maria for the Dominican, for the Dominican. Right? Let's just get that again. Get some visual aids. A lot of times, you know, our people, we hold on to being Haitian. Yeah. You know, we're not Haitian. We're the Levites.
That's right.
That's who we are. We're not Haitian. The Most High didn't call us to be Haitian, but he called us to be Levites. So this is the instruments of cruelty that you'll see in the island of Hispaniola. When you go into more history with our people, right? That's still over there in the west coast of Africa and the various places of Africa where we was taken from. The places that you see where the Haitian, so-called Haitian man was taken from in the west coast of Africa, those areas is the most concentrated places where you'll see voodoo being practiced. And statistically, in that landmass of Africa, they practice the most voodoo in these areas where they were taking the Haitian man from. Just like they practice voodoo over here, they're practicing a lot of voodoo over there. I remember I seen a video from Elder Matatua. He went to, I believe he went to Togo or he went to Senegal, one of the two, or I think the Togo or Benin. You know, he went there and he was recording. They were doing sacrifices and witchcraft right there, right in broad daylight. You know, showing that, you know, these people, just like the scriptures say, they'll have the instruments of cruelty. It's fact. It's not a fairy tale. This is real. Let's continue.
Verse 6. Oh my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor. Be not thou united.
So what did he say?
Be not thou united.
So the Most High said that they're not going to be united. The so-called Haitian man and the so-called Dominican man, who do the most fighting in the Caribbean.
Right.
The Dominicans think they're not the same as the Haitians just because they're a little light and I believe the machata. And the Haitians think they're not the same as the Dominicans because they do kumpa and zouk, even though they're the same people. The Most High said they will not be united.
The same rhythm.
Right. They move just the same, but
for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall.
So what is that talking about? That they have that fierce wrath in them. Right? When Levi is mad, you know, I remember I said this in the Bring It Out show. I said, we don't fight fair over here, man. When Levi mad, we don't fight fair. The minute you screw up with one of us, we all steal on you. You feel me? We don't fight fair. So-called Dominican man that way too. They don't fight fair.
So like, but it based off of the flag too, like the flag that we got. What the flag says, "L'union fait la force," right? You know what I'm saying? We come in groups, man. When it comes to get down, you know, that's part of it too, man.
Right. And when you go on Zephaniah 2:1, what does it say?
Gather yourself together.
That's the spirit. With unity and force. That's what the whole nation of Israel needed. We need to unify. So we're gonna continue a little bit more. Read that verse again.
Book of Genesis, chapter 49, and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
O my soul, come not thou into their secret,
Read.
unto their assembly, mine honor. Be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
So let's get that account. Let's get Genesis 34, verse 25 to 30. I want you to read that for me. Genesis 34, verse 25 to 30.
Book of Genesis, chapter 34, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
And it
So
came to
we're gonna get an understanding on what it means by he in their self-will to dig down the wall. You know, I'm just gonna switch it up a little bit for my Creole speakers. So let not lis Genèse chapitre 49. Bon Dieu a parlé avec mon peuple haïtien qui ça t'a arrivé dans le dernier jour. Il te dit yo t'a goumé en pile avec dominicain yo. Il te dit yo t'a fait voodoo dans Haïti. Donc regardez haïtien fait plus voodoo parce que notre nation yo. Plus passer Jamaïcain, plus passer Mexicain, plus passer Puerto Ricain, plus passer Black Américain, natif Indien yo, nous fait plus voodoo passer à passer toute l'autre tribu yo. So bon Dieu dit nous ça dans Genèse chapitre 49, il dit nous ça. Go ahead and read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 34, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sure, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi,
Levi, we get that account now, read.
Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly,
Read.
and slew all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword.
So they slew these two Africans after they agreed to let the sister have them if they circumcised the whole town. So we're going to get a little bit more into that wrath. Read.
And took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out.
Read.
The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city.
So they stole them, they robbed them. You know, Levi, they hit the jouet. So the man Levi, he's the original jouet boy. Read.
Because they had defiled their sister. They took their sheep and their oxen and their donkeys and that which was in the city and that which was in the field.
Read.
And all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives took they captive.
So they took all their children and all their wives as slaves after they killed all the men. Read.
And spoiled even all that was in the house.
So they robbed everything in the crib. Read.
And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land.
Now read that one more time.
Verse 30.
A lot of times we've been brushing over scriptures, and a lot of times I see brothers, they'll go over these scriptures and they'll brush it because they lack understanding. If you lack understanding, you shouldn't be teaching it. You should not be teaching something that you do not understand. You should be sitting in class with your pen and paper if you don't understand. So let's go right back real quick before you read that again, so everybody can get caught up with where we at. So in Genesis 49 and 6, O my soul, come not into their secret, unto their assembly. My honor be not thou united. For in their anger, we're going over back into their anger. They slew a man, and in their self-will, they dig down the wall. What is that? What does it mean by they dig down that wall? Continue reading, officer.
Book of Genesis, chapter 34, verse 30. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi,
this is the wall that they brought down. Read.
Ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me.
What are they going to do?
And slay me.
And slay them. Read.
And I shall be destroyed, I and my house.
So this is the wall that they broke down between Jacob and the surrounding Hamites by coming in and slaying Shechem. And you still see that spirit in the so-called Haitian man today. For those of you who went to school in Florida, this is a little recap. Okay, let's stop real quick. For those of us that went to school in Florida, I know Officer Priest has a lot. He knows a little bit more than me. He's a lot older than me.
Okay.
I remember in middle school, in my time growing up, it used to be a lot of Haitians and Jamaicans fighting each other. A lot of times in the world. But one thing that always stopped the fighting is when all the Haitians realized, listen, because you know we all grew up the same. We eat the same food. We all have the same rules in the household. That's one thing I can say about the so-called Haitian man. Everybody is like nobody strayed away from the recipe. You know, everybody house is the same because everybody uses the same seasoning at the same time. So when they start realizing, listen, we brothers, man, we in this together. They all against us. We need to come together.
Yeah.
They come together, and then they don't fight fair, and then the bullying stops. That always happened. I know during I believe your time, officer. That's when the Judites, the Black Americans, they had the Haitian Fridays, right?
Oh yeah, Haitian fight days every Fridays, man. Haitian beatdown days.
Yeah, that's the day that they used to beat down the Haitians.
Yeah.
In school. And Deerfield, I remember my mom used to tell me that. You know, she came here when she was young, so she spoke perfect English. You know, to this day, I don't have an accent for nothing. So they Haitian or not. And, you know, she don't talk to people like that. So
right.
But they say on those Fridays though, you see Haitian Levites running.
Yeah.
Like a black people on EBT trying to get EBT, man. They're running on Fridays until they realize, listen, we need to come together. And then that's how you go down in all these little groups. And then they retaliate, and then the all that nonsense stops.
Listen, I got a story for days on that, man. Like it's crazy. It's like my cousin down in Miami was coming from school, getting off the bus, right? We got a couple of Judite brother that was waiting on us to get off the bus, right? So as soon as my cousin hopped up the bus, one of them swung on my cousin, bop, right? So my cousin started running and said, hey, Jackson, call left, just got fired. I said, call left. But I ain't gonna lie, we had to stand our ground and you know start fighting with his brothers, man. At the end, I ain't gonna lie, the brothers started giving us respect in the hood because they came from the same hood as us, man. So they started giving us respect because we actually stood for ourselves. So yeah, that's man, right. Crazy.
And that's something that we see, like, you know, even when we go out to camp, you know, for those of us that's Haitian that's tuning in, and you know, a lot of times you'll see brothers trying to teach the so-called Haitian, and they're not receptive like that. But when they hear that Fale Creole, or they see that you know you can relate to them on a certain level, then they automatically they can have a bottle of water, and you keep trying to sell them a bottle of water. The minute you start speaking Creole, trying to sell that bottle of water, they're gonna buy it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But that's just the spirit. You know, the scripture said that each of the 12 tribes is like a different fruit, like it says in Revelation and Ezra, bearing a different manner as a fruit in its time. Each tribe has its own flavor. Each tribe has its own look and shape and spirit, and we just got to learn how to embrace that. And it's a lot of times we try to fight it, you guys got to embrace it. And because you know it, you got to be more tactical. You understand? If I know a so-called Mexican man gonna be receptive to a Mexican man, listen, pass the ball. Because at the end of the day, we all eat from the reward. You understand what I'm saying? We all eat from that reward. Let's go right back to where he's at. Go right back where we at. We got one more verse in Genesis.
Book of Genesis, chapter 34, verse 31.
No, go back to 49.
Yeah.
Oh, Genesis 49. Come.
Yeah.
Book of Genesis, chapter 49, and verse 7. Cursed be their anger.
Cursed be who?
Their anger.
Their anger, really.
For it was fierce.
For it was fierce. And later on, we're going to go into that anger during the 1800s, really.
And their wrath.
And their wrath, really.
For it was cruel.
I
would divide them in Jacob.
You would do what?
I would divide them in Jacob.
So what is the Most High saying right here? Let's really actually going to get a map. I want you to read that again from the top, Bible Kishar. We're going to get a map.
Come. Book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 7. Cursed be their anger.
Cursed be their anger, really.
For it was fierce.
Because it was fierce, really.
And their wrath. For it was cruel.
For it was cruel, really.
I would divide them in Jacob.
You will do what?
I would divide them in Jacob.
So now the Most High is talking about the tribe of Levi, because we know that the Simeonites, when during the time of Joshua, they got their inheritance right in the midst of the territory of Judah. So they weren't divided amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. Who was divided? The so-called Haitian man was divided amongst all 12 tribes of Israel doing the service of the Most High God. Now, even when you look at these times now, and it's spiritual, And this is why you got to be able to pray in the Most High. Most High reveal His secrets to His prophets. When you look at, for example, and I learned this about 2 years ago. I didn't even know it was like that. When you go into places like Mexico, you see Haitians, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go somewhere like Bahamas, because Mexico is the inhabitants of who? Issachar. When you go somewhere in Bahamas, like Benjamin, where do you see Levi? In the Bahamas. When you go somewhere like Brazil, because I have a lot of relatives in Brazil, my father's side, you see so-called Haitians there. So-called the tribe of Levi is amongst all 12 tribes of Israel. Even when you look at our neighborhoods, right? Let's look at our neighborhoods. You have a whole neighborhood of Puerto Ricans, but somewhere in the cut, next to the gas station and the food store, Levi posted up under the tree in the food store. You'll see a little apartment complex of Haitians right there. Just like my neighborhood where I was staying at, right? Yeah. My apartment complex was the only complex with Haitians. And it was a straight Haitians up and downstairs everywhere. We were the only ones right there. Just like how the scripture said in Genesis 49, they will be scattered amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. It's just like how it is right now, through the Spirit of the Most High God, through His divine, His grand design. The Levites will be scattered amongst all 12 tribes of Israel. Just like in ancient times, so we'll deal with them, communicate with them, etc. When we go back into that wilderness, Ephraim might be acting up. We might get some Levites that's there that know how to deal with them, make them cool down. We might have some Levites that need to handle some, Benjamin. Benjamin might miss reggae in the wilderness. We might send some Levites out there to play him some reggae. So he calmed down. The wolf calmed down. So the Most High said they'll be scattered amongst all 12 tribes of Israel. Go back there and read that in Genesis 49.
Book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 7. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce.
For it was fierce, read.
And their wrath, for it was cruel.
For the wrath, it was cruel. Because one thing we know about so-called Haitian people, they're cool people, man. And that goes into a little bit to their personality. They're cool. But when you get them angry, Poppy ain't the same no more. Poppy that you see at the bus stop is not the same no more.
Right.
Poppy, get your hair, get that chicken face to east, and turn you to a mango. Like Captain Kadas told me last week, he heard somebody got turned into a mango in Haiti. I never heard about that, but if that's true,
into a mango.
I don't know. But Poppy will curse you and your children to the third or fourth generation when you get them upset.
Hey, listen, you're right, man. My father like that, man. My father actually, that brother, man, he's on that. He's on that, the Haitian religion, right? The voodoo part. This is what he do. Most of the time he goes to Haiti, that's what he do. Go to Haiti just for that. Because I remember one of my best friends growing up named Casey. So he kind of hit my dad's car. My dad said, you know what? My George. You know Haitian be saying, "Why can't George? My fuck on that." You know what I'm saying?
That means karma's gonna get you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get you. Well, you gonna learn not to play with me. So he's trying to scare. He's trying to scare my Casey and all that. But I was like, we had to calm my daddy down though. But till this day, my daddy still can't stand this guy, man. Oh, my dad. Listen, Haitian.
He cursed when he's angry, man.
Yep.
It was cool.
It's cruelty and anger for real, man.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 33, Luka. Let's go into some more of this prophecy. Because we got some sources we want to read. Because il est pour nous même haïtiens pour nous lever. Because bon Dieu pas jamais nous religion. Il pas jamais nous l'évangile, il pas jamais nous voodoo. Il pas nous commandement avec l'ordre pour nous suivre. Il pas jamais nous bagaille l'église ba nous. C'est bagaille l'église a fait pour nous voler l'argent nous coucher avec madame.
That's it.
Bagaille l'église a fait pour nous.
That's it.
But, you chasing your Haitian preachers, you got to come back to your officers and your captains, and it's truth, man. But we're here to guide you. We're not going to steal your money. We're here to tell you the truth because we wave this flag. Yeah, this flag has a lot to do with freedom and getting revenge on our oppressor.
Unity.
But nevertheless, we got to come back and join forces with the other tribes and destroy the white man under the orders of Yahawah, who is the greatest so-called black man that ever walked the earth. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33. Officer Tazalai, you're going to read from Officer Hamad. We're going to go a little bit more. We're going to go into some of this history that we have.
So you said 33?
Yeah, what do we We'll start from Deuteronomy 33, verse 1 to 3, and then drop down to verse 8, where it talks about Levi.
Okay. On this book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Yahawah, blessed the children of Israel before his death.
Right. So just like Captain Ahhad just stated, you know, each tribe, they have their own blessing, right? They got their own talent, right? Read.
And he said, the Most High came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000 of saints.
He came
from
with
his
what?
right hand.
How much he came with?
He came with 10,000 of saints.
10,000 of saints, right? The Most High came with 10,000 of saints. And we know who the saints are according to the Bible, right? Children of Israel, but Levi being one of them, right? You know, so it's like Psalms 148 and 13, or Psalms 50 and 5, and etc., right? Read.
From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Yea, he loved the people, all his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet.
Right. So all the saints is in the Most High's hand. Right. All the saints, right? The children of Israel. Read.
Everyone shall receive of thy words.
Right. Everyone shall receive thy words. Right. Like just like stated, right? We all have a blessing. You know, one tribe might be better at another tribe at something. We all look away. We all act away. We all talk away. We all dress away. Well,
that's right. Like, you know, not to cut you off, if I could. Not to cut you off, if I could, officer. Now, when you look at the tribe of Judah, Judah was blessed with like physical proneness. You understand? That's their blessing. When you look at Benjamin, they were blessed to raving like wolf regarding their music on retribution and salvation and giving praises to the Most High God. That's their blessing. I believe Ephraim blessed with the fruit of the body. I feel like I'm missing some off the top of my head right now. But each of the tribes, like you said, they received their blessing that give them a sign to make them stand out from each other. Now, when you come into the truth now, you know, everybody still has their blessing, but when it comes to the tribe of Levi, so-called Haitian, man, he's the only one that don't have his blessing no more in Deuteronomy 33. No more. Judah still he that should be praised. Benjamin should still raven as a wolf. The other tribes still have, but no, Levi, you don't get his blessing no more. And that goes back to Deuteronomy 28:54 and Malachi the second chapter. That lets us know emphatically that we are the descendants of that tribe.
That's right.
We have to fight for what the Most High gave us, and it's evident in the scriptures. You know, everybody who says Yahawah Yahawashi knows how to read, but when it comes to this tribe, it seems like everybody just spelled the FCAT for some reason. That shows us emphatically that yes, we are from that tribe. You understand? So like if cutting you off, go ahead.
Right. You know, that was a powerful point too. You could look at the food, for example, that we be cooking. You would know. You see these such part legging. First thing you're gonna think of is a Levite, right? We all, you know, we have our own style. Everybody have their own style of doing something, right? You know, you wouldn't see a tribe of Judah, you know, making some these such part legging, being like, here you go, and then tribe of Levi making Judah food and Ephraim making Simeon foods, etc. Right? You see that everybody have their own style, right? They're all the same way, right? But you could draw down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And of Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One.
That what?
Let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One.
Right. Well, let thy Thummim and Urim be with thy Holy One. Right. What does that mean? Meaning communicating with the Most High or being close to the Most High, getting answers from the Most High. Right. You know, you look at Levi. Levi, loya means join to me. Right, joined to the Most High. Right, the Most High is that Holy One that we are joined into, that we are very close with, very connected to. Well, we're supposed to, right? But you know, we lost that because we turned our back from Him, right? So, and the Most High also turned His back from us for what we did. Right. Let me get Hosea chapter 5 verse 15 real quickly. Hosea chapter 5.
You know, why he's getting that? That's powerful because that Urim and Thummim, it was used to get divine answers from the Most High. I believe that's where they get the concept for telephones.
Right.
You know, how they use Google to get their answers. We used to have the ultimate Wi-Fi connection. We used to have 7G. They got 5G. We used to have 7G. When we need an answer from the Most High, the Urim and Thummim will give us a yes or no answer from the Most High God. La kan or la ah. You know, when you know, matter of fact, let me get a quick example for you, officer, real quick.
Con.
Let me just get a quick example for you real quick in the meantime. Real quick. of the Urim and Thummim used to get a divine answer. Okay, let me get that for you. And I believe it's in Ezra chapter 2.
Ezra chapter 2.
Yeah. Con, I want you to read Ezra chapter 2, verse 61 to about 63.
Ezra chapter 2, verse 61 to 62.
To 63.
Book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 61.
Mm-hmm.
And of the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, the children of Cause, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and was called after their name.
So these Levites, they took wives of the tribe, I believe it's the tribe of Manasseh that's in Gilead. It's Manasseh or Reuben or Gad, one of the three tribes. Their wives are from these tribes, right? And they're read a little bit more. So like I want to get
verse 62.
Uh-huh.
These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy.
So when they came back out of the Babylon captivity, they're going through everybody's great records and lineage. So they find out, okay, these little Levites right here, their mothers are from Reuben, Manasseh, or Gad, one of these three territories, wherever Gilead is at. And they're trying to get their claim to be back in the priesthood because we're trying to reorganize ourselves again. Read.
But they were not found.
They weren't finding the records. Nobody could prove, okay, if these guys were the priests for real, or if these guys were, regular Kohathites, or sons of Merari, or sons of Gershom, or are these guys even Levites at all? Read.
Therefore were they, as polluted, put from the priesthood.
They couldn't deal with eating the things sacrificed to the Most High, doing the offerings, and etc. Read. In the
Tersatha said unto them, and Tersatha said unto them,
read,
that they should not eat of the most holy things.
So this one elder Levite, he said, yo, these guys cannot eat the dijon and the tassel turkey and the bundle that's sacrificed to the Most High. They can't eat that because we don't know if these guys are actually the priests of the Most High. So back then they took that seriously. Back then, nowadays we don't take that none of these things seriously in the scriptures.
Right. Till there stood up a priest.
Now the problem was identifying if these young Levites are actually descended from the priest. That's the problem right now. Are they or are they not? This is the issue. Read.
With Yeram. And
read that again. Read that part again. Until there stood up what?
Till there stood up a priest.
Until there stood up a priest that stood up with what?
With Yeram.
With a Yeram and what?
And with Thummim.
And Thummim, read.
The whole congregation.
Yeah, that's it. Until a priest stood up with the Yeram and Thummim to get the divine answer from the Most High. Yes, are they the descendant of the priest, or no, are they not?
Right.
So just show you that the Urim and Thummim is dealing with a spiritual connection with the Most High. So go ahead, Officer Salah.
Yeah, that shows how close we was to the Most High in the ancient days, right? The Levites. Right? Did you get that Hosea 5:15, King?
Come. This book of Hosea, chapter 5, verse 15.
Read.
I will go and return to my place.
Right. So the Most High will go and return to his place. Right, read.
Till they acknowledge their offense.
Till we what?
Till they acknowledge their offense.
Till we acknowledge our offense. Of course, it's talking about all 12 tribes of Israel, but Levites being one of them. Right, breaking the law of the Most High. Right, we turn our back from the Most High, and that's why we are in the condition we are in today. You look at Haiti, for example. Look how low Haiti is. We don't got nothing over there. Right? When you think of Haiti, all you think of is bricks and rocks made out of houses. A lot of people I know growing up, they used to laugh at me. So I said, "Oh, you Haitian? Are you ashy? Are you black?" etc. Right? So that's exactly what it is, right? Because the Most High is not with us. One of the blessings is being our lands being blessed in the land and blessed in the field, blessed in the city and the field. Look at Haiti. You look at Haiti, they don't got nothing. Right, so this is why Haiti looked the way it looks today, because we turn our back from the Most High. But read.
And seek my face, and the affliction they will seek me early.
Do what?
And the affliction, they will seek me early.
Right. We need to seek the Most High. That's what we don't do. Seek the Most High. So going back to the independence, when we got our independence in 1804, you know,
we don't get there. We don't get there. We don't get there. Don't skip the gun yet.
Con.
We
Okay.
get there. Go back to Deuteronomy 33. We won't get there.
Con, let's go to Deuteronomy 33, King.
And can't give him the tassel yet. You gotta give him the Jean first.
I was gonna give him some of the gratin. Okay. 33 and 8. Con.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 8. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah.
Right. So, you know, when the Most High is with you, can't nobody be against you. Right. And you could keep reading, King.
Verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children. For they have observed thy words and kept thy covenant.
Right. So that's talking about the zeal we had for the Most High. We used to have for the Most High. Right. At ancient time. We used to have a zeal for the Most High. Right. Let me get Genesis 29 real quickly, King.
That's right.
Verse 34. Right. Just to show a prime example on the zeal we have for the Most High. Right. Genesis 29 and 34.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 29, verse 34. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me.
Shilaki. That's one for joined to me I was talking about earlier. What was it? Exodus? Let me get Exodus. Shilaki.
I believe it's Exodus 32. You're just looking for.
Con, Exodus 32 and 26. Con.
Oh, con.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Shilaki. Exodus 32 and 26.
Now, this book of Exodus, chapter 32, verse 26. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Most High side?
Right, so you're talking to Israel, right? Who's in the Most High side? Right, let's see what happens. Read.
Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levites gathered themselves together unto him.
Right, so it's the Levites that gathered themselves together, right? Down to side with the Most High. Right, it was the Levites. That's the type of zeal we have for the Most High. Right, that's why the Most High made us join into Him. That's why we're so close to the Most High. Read.
And he said unto them, thus said the Most High power of Israel, put every man his swords by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses.
Right. They did according to what Moses said from the Most High. Exactly what they said. Right. The Most High said, hey, go slay this person. They're gonna do it. Most High said, go make me some food. They're gonna do it. Right? Because they had that zeal for the Most High. They had their faith in the Most High. That's the type, that's the Levites today. Right? You see, sadly, they're into different religions and Christianity and stuff. But when you actually look at them today in Christianity, they have a zeal for the white Jesus. Right? They have a zeal. I could see it because I grew up in a Haitian church. Right? When the Haitian flag day come around, what they do? They fly all over the air. They ain't forget that. Right? We can go back to Deuteronomy 33. They have that zeal today. I could see it. And the works they do, like I said, I grew up in a Haitian church, right? In a Christian church. So the works they do, they will go above and beyond on what they do. Right? That's something that's always been in our DNA.
Right. And when you look at the so-called Haitian man today, right, even in church, if they're in church, they stand fast in church because they believe they're serving the Most High God. Now, a lot of times people go into Haitian voodoo, they think Haitian voodoo is they're serving different gods. No. My grandfather, great-grandfather, my auntie, my cousins, first cousins, my mother, my mother's family, they're all done witchcraft. So I've been around that all my life.
Hey.
They never believed in multiple gods. They believed that just like how we can't go directly to the Most High, we gotta go to Yahawashi. They go to these spirits to connect with the one true God, which they call is Dia or Bon Dia. You understand what I'm saying? In a way, it's like a polluted version of what you see in the scriptures. They believe in one power, one God, but they believe they can't directly go to him. They got to go through some type of mediator. You understand? And when they're in that, they believe stand fast in that. When they're in church, they stand fast in it because they have a certain zeal. Rather, they doing it according to their own knowledge, but they have a zeal to want to serve the Most High God. Now, you have some brothers in this truth. They want to say, "Oh, I'm Levi, tribal Levi, priest, blah blah blah," but they're under their woman sucking breast milk. You can't listen. When you read that scripture when Moses said, "Who is on the side of the Most High?" Stand by. All the men stood up and was with the Most High program.
Right.
They were at home drinking El Similac. Or nowadays, the baby milk is there's a shortage. They're not out here on the prowl hustling in parking lot pimping for milk. They were out doing the work of the Most High God. You understand?
Exactly.
And that's to us. When we're claiming that we from the tribe of Levi, we the priests of the Most High God, we gotta take that seriously. You understand? I remember Priest Khan always saying we gotta be set apart. We gotta take that seriously because we see the examples like Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Ezra. There's a standard that we have, and there's a pivotal role in the nation of Israel. There's a very important role we play in the nation of Israel, and that's the spirit that we gotta have as a people. We can't be going off. Go ahead.
Con, you could read.
That was fun. Verse 9. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did they acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob thy judgment.
They shall what?
They shall teach Jacob thy judgments.
They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, read.
And Israel thy law.
In Israel thy law. That's what the Levites did. Right? We was teaching the law. That was part of our that's one of our blessings, right? Our strongest attributes was teaching the law. Right? When they had questions about the law, they came to the Levites. Right? Because that's where
when you're done.
Con, you could put the scripture. I need to get a charge.
Yeah, go ahead and get your charge. Officer, go talk like give me Genesis. I mean not Genesis. Jeremiah 33 from 17 to 18 in the NLT for me. Give me that for me. You can read it in the KJV first, and then get it in the NLT for me. Because when he said it's powerful, because a lot of times you'll see, and I remember I think this is why the Most High did. Not everybody's qualified to read the Bible. And I believe that. That's why there's so much confusion in the nation of Israel. Not everybody should be qualified to read the scriptures. Because this is where you get all these false doctrines and understanding. Some people need to be taught, not going around teaching nothing. You sit down and learn and do it. Do what you're being taught through the will of the Most High God. Now, we'll see a scripture like this. People say it's abolished. No, it's open. That's not nowhere in the Bible. Like the officer is saying, one of our strongest attributes is to teach the law, statute, commandments, the Torah, the words of Yahawashi. The words of Yahawashi is Deuteronomy 18:18, which is what? The law. You understand what I'm saying? We have a heightened sense the Most High gave us, just like the Most High gave Benjamin a heightened sense with reggae music, revolutionary, having that revolutionary spirit. The same way Judah was able to make styles and music and dancing and rapping and etc. That's their gift. And the same way the Most High gave us a gift to be able to excel with teaching His word. Sometimes you see brothers saying, "Well, are you saying none of the other tribes could teach the word?" No, you could teach Jeremiah, you could teach Isaiah, you could teach Ezekiel. But if we're gonna go down from script to script and rehearse the righteous acts, scripture say, that's what it says right there. Everybody agrees. So, like he says that we received a heightened understanding of the law of the Most High. So read that for me in Genesis 33. I didn't want to go into sacrifices and priesthood and etc. Go ahead. Jeremiah 33, verse 17 and 18. Read it in the KJV first.
Okay. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verse 17. But thus said the Most High, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel.
So David should never want a man to sit in the house of David on the house of So like, we got to get one more time. So like,
for thus said the Most High, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel.
Nobody but David's descendants are going to sit on the throne and rule over the children of Israel. But we're going to get clarity when we go into the NLT. Read.
Verse 18. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offering and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually.
Nobody but this lineage is going to be able to step and foot in that priesthood office. But read that in the NLT now. Now we're going to get clarity on what he's saying. The same way all the other tribes got their blessings, the same way we still have our blessings.
That's
You
right.
cannot think that you're going to be a Haitian eating griot this weekend in Miami or in Canada going to these Haitian festivals thinking that you about to get a salvation. No, it's not going to work that way. When we look at what hurricane happened through the Bahamas, it hit predominantly where the Haitians are at, showing you the Most High is not with you unless we come back and keep the commandments. When you look what's going on in Haiti, that happens because we're not coming back and serving the Most High. We're not doing the things that He asked of us. Go ahead.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verse 17 on the NLT. But this is what the Lord said: David will have descendants sitting on the throne of Israel forever.
So this is true. Now it's about to give us a comparison in 17 and 18. The same way David will always have a descendant sitting in that throne, which is Yahawashi. Nobody ever challenged to be king because they ought to be challenging Yahawashi's claim. Nobody ever do that. You will have to be drunk on weed and Hennessy to challenge Yahawashi. So David's lineage will always have somebody reigning over the children of Israel, which is Yahawashi. Now verse 18, let's get the comparison he's about to do.
Verse 18. And there will always be Levitical priests to offer burnt offerings.
What did he say?
Be Levitical priests to offer burnt offerings. Levitical priests to offer.
No, it's open to everybody because people say that's not word in the Bible.
Right. The Levitical priests. To offer burnt offering and grain offering and sacrifices to me.
So just like this, David have his lineage, Aaron will have his lineage. Gradually we could be Benjamites and Simeonites. The Bible says what it says. So we gotta hold the Bible for what it says. Go ahead, officer. You got it.
Con. You go back to Deuteronomy 33. Most High likes everything in order, the way He says it. Right. So the Most High say, I want one of y'all. I need the tribe of Levi to sit down at this specific seat, while everybody else sit on the other side. We got to do it. Right. That's how the Most High want it. And the Most High, the ways of the Most High is always perfect. The ways of the Most High are always neat. Right. The way the Most High says to do something, you can never go wrong. If you're going up against the word of the Most High, you're a liar. Makes you a liar. Right. If you add into His words. Right.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 10. This shall teach Jacob thy judgments and Israel thy law. This shall put incense before thee and whole burnt sacrifice upon thy altar. Bless Yahawah His substance and accept thy works of His hands.
Right. So the blessing that the Most High gave us, the skills that He gave us, it's a blessing from the Most High. Agree?
But smite through the loins of them that rise up against Him, and of them that hate Him, that rise not again. It's like that they rise not again.
Right, and that goes back to 1804. But Captain Doon is giving no guyo right now, so calm. You know what I'm saying? Any enemies that rise up against us, just know if the Most High is with us, hey, nobody's winning. Right? Every time the Most High was with us, we win. Right? So if the Most High is not with you, it's over. But calm.
Let me get these sources for you real quick, because read that again, Officer Tazalai. We're gonna go on.
This
for you, if you're Haitian and you're watching this today, you're not Haitian. You're a Levite according to the Bible. You're one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans is your people. Stop thinking that the so-called Black Americans is different from you. They're your brothers. Jamaicans are your brothers. Brazilians, Cubans, Dominicans. Those are your people. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel, right along with you. Read that again for some historical references.
This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 10. This shall teach Jacob thy judgments and Israel thy law. This shall put incense before thee and hold burnt sacrifice upon thine altar.
So their blessing is
Bless,
to be the priest of the Lord. That's their blessing.
uh,
Don't take away from the
uh,
word. Read.
bless Yahawah his substance, and accept the work of his hands.
So this is
Smite
dealing
through,
with the coffee and the sugar that they were producing during that when they were in hardcore slavery in Haiti. They
right.
outproduced all the sugar and coffee production in the Western
Mm-hmm.
Hemisphere. Read.
Come, smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
What did the scripture say?
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him,
Read.
and of them that hate him.
So the scripture says smite. Smite is to give a deadly blow towards those that hate him so they don't rise again. So historically, who had the historical Haitian man under slavery? Which Edomite I believe empire or country had the so-called Haitians under captivity?
The French.
It was the French. Now, one of the greatest, or if not the greatest,
Right.
slave rebellion on the face of the earth in history. The only rebellion that's going to top this is when Yahawashi lead the ultimate rebellion upon the face of the earth. Is the 1804 revolution under the so-called Haitian man. This being prophesied in Deuteronomy 38, that they will smite the loins of them that hate them, that they don't rise again. So we're about to read this right now. Because, a lot of our Haitian people, I know they got a head harder than stone. They got a head harder than stone than a sardine can. So sometimes you gotta break it down, historically to them. So we're gonna read this right now from www.blackpast.org. All right. So the Haitian Revolution has often been described as the largest and most successful slave rebellion in the Western Hemisphere, which is true. Slaves initiated the rebellion in 1791, and by 1803, they had succeeded in ending not just slavery, but French control over the colony. So over the whole colony that the French had control on that island, they expelled it. The Haitian Revolution, however, was much more complex, consisting of several revolutions going on simultaneously. These revolutions were influenced by French Revolution of 1789, which would come to represent a new concept of human rights, universal citizenship, and participation in the government. So the so-called Haitian men smiting the loins of them that hate them changed up the whole game during that era in the Western Hemisphere. In the 18th century, Saint Dominique, as Haiti was then known, became France's wealthiest overseas colony, largely because of its production of sugar, coffee, indigo, cotton generated by an enslaved labor force. So I want you to read that again in Deuteronomy 33. Blessed substance. Read that again for me.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 11. Bless Yahawah his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against them.
So when it says blessed through the substance of his hand, it's talking about the sugar, coffee, indigo, cotton, and generated by the labor force. And the smiting is who? The French Revolution. Ever since the so-called Haitian man rose up against the French, they never rose again as a superpower upon the face of the earth. They were on a steady decline after that. And that's according to history. We read the verse and we went into the history. We went into it in the history. Not only did they defeat the French, but the Haitians had a hand in many other countries' revolutions, right? And them getting freedom, like Northwest Brazil, Guyana, where a lot of the Benjamites are in that country, Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Northern Peru, Costa Rica. They had a hand in, I believe, in a little bit in America too. I forgot the historical reference for that. And I believe it's in Chicago or something like that. It'll come back to my memory. But they had a hand in all of these countries here, and during slavery, man. That they went out there and they were successful according to the blessing the Most High gave them, showing you what the Bible is real. The Bible is real. And it's showing us again that these people in the land of Haiti, though they eat grill, though sometimes they mismatch, sometimes these people are the biblical Levites, because just like Deuteronomy 33 says, they came to pass. So I believe you have the second historical reference, right, officer?
Salat.
I believe officer. You have the second historical reference that we wanted to bring up, right? or you want me to bring it up?
The 1804 Haiti massacre.
No, no, we're gonna get there.
Okay.
You have the Boakaiman, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Barak Hyman.
Yeah. Before you read it, let me just recap real quick on it right here, and then you can bring out that source for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Boakaiman, that's Creole or French for I believe it's alligator forest. It's somewhere. It's a location in Haiti. Boakaiman ceremony was often used as a source of inspiration to nationalists and as a symbol of resistance to oppression in pop culture. Bois Cayenne has been referenced in music and other artistic works as a symbol of resistance and unity in the 1970s. So this is an event that they claim had a lot to do with the Haitian Revolution, how the Haitians got freed. They say that we sacrificed a black pig and made a covenant with Satan, and somehow Satan helped us defeat his physical brother, the white man, to get us out of slavery. And it never came back and helped us since then, after we get hit with hurricanes. That don't make no damn sense. But go ahead, you read that source, officer. Go ahead and read that full source.
Barak Hyman as a secret gathering of slaves born in Saint Dominique or Africa is also used in music as a symbol of unity of the Haitian people as a whole and throughout the centuries, linking contemporary times to the late 18th century and the heroes of the Haitian Revolution, but also to the other Caribbean island in Africa.
Let me read a little bit more into it. We're gonna go a little bit more. You know, a lot of our people, we gotta learn this history, and I encourage each of the 12 tribes to learn a little bit about your history, man. Your history from where your forefathers were brought into captivity, or for the Northern Kingdom, where your forefathers was probably before the white man put you in captivity. All right, this is in Wikipedia.org. Role during the Haitian Revolution. Before Bois Cayenne ceremony, voodoo rituals were seen as an event of social gathering where enslaved Africans had the ability to organize. Now, one, what's wrong with this? It says voodoo rituals, right? Voodoo rituals has to do with fake voodoo priests and priestess. Officer Charles, give me Leviticus 20:27 real quick. Let me show you what's wrong with that already. Because us as a people, we can't prosper in our wickedness. So how the hell are we going to go sacrifice a shrunken head and alligator teeth to Satan and then get us out of captivity? And then we still do hate voodoo in 2022, and they can't help us in Haiti.
Right.
That don't make no sense. So-called Black Americans go off as hell in America, but for some reason, in their wickedness, they cannot be redeemed in the land of America. So the same as the Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Jamaicans, and when these Chinese and Arabs and East Indians is buying up all the land and all the businesses and etc. in Jamaica. In our wickedness, we can't prosper. So go ahead in Leviticus 20:27 before I continue.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 27. A man also, a woman that have a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard. It's a lot. You said something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, it's a lot. Let me start over. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 27. A man also, or a woman that had a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them.
So we see right here in this verse that the Most High is against witchcraft and voodoo. He's against that. So if he's against it, how are we going to prosper with it? That should already give you off red flags already. Go ahead and continue reading. Oh, so let me go ahead and continue reading. Right. Voodoo rituals were seen as an event of social gathering where enslaved Africans had the ability to organize. These meetings had an opportunity to organize were considered harmless by white slave owners. Therefore, they were permitted. It is also argued that voodoo created a more homogeneous black culture in Haiti. So basically, this Haitian voodoo is what kind of kept these individuals together. You understand? On the night of August 14, 1791, representative slaves from nearby plantations gathered to participate in a secret ceremony conducted in the woods nearby Le Cap in the French colony of Saint Dominique, presided over by Duddy Bookman. Now, when we read Deuteronomy 33, who was Deuteronomy 33 dealing with? What tribe?
Levi.
He's dealing with the Levitical tribe. Now,
Right.
deal with the Levitical tribe. What in Genesis 33 it said that it would be scattered amongst where?
Hold on, I can't hear what he just said. What's wrong with
It said that it would be scattered amongst all 12 tribes of Israel. Now, in history, it says Duddy Bookman was one of the I believe he's the one that sparked off this revolution. Now, if that's true and he's not a Levite, that means Deuteronomy 33 did not come to pass. If he's the one that led this revolution, because it didn't say Asher should smite through the loins of his enemies. It didn't say Dan. It didn't say Manasseh. It said that Levi will smite through the loins of his enemies, and that he don't rise up again. So we're going to continue reading. A prominent enslaved African leader, and Unga, which is a male priest in witchcraft and a voodoo priest, and Cecile Fatima, a mumbo, which is a female voodoo priestess. The ceremony served as both a religious ritual and strategic meeting as enslaved Africans met and planned a revolt against the ruling white enslavers of the colony's wealthy northern plain. The ceremony is considered the official beginning of the Haitian Revolution. So the individuals that partake in the ceremony are the ones who sparked off this revolution that the Most High prophesied that will be done and led and completed by the so-called Levite. The event was followed by participants of Bois Cayenne ceremony to revolt against their white oppressors due to their promise to the mysterious woman who appeared during the ceremony. The participants liberated plantations throughout the area to reduce the social disorder of the rebellion. The French captured Bookman and beheaded him. The French then displayed his head on Cap Square to prove his mortality and French power. So they say that this is what caused us to go out and go in. This ceremony of doing the sacrifice. But when we read in Deuteronomy 33, what really caused us to win? It was the Most High.
Cap.
Go ahead.
Cap, you kind of muffling the mic a little bit, trying to move away from the mic.
Oh, Salat. Can you hear me?
Con.
So when we go into Deuteronomy 33, how do we really get into this? How do we win this revolution?
The Most High.
Through the hands of the Most High. So that's why I wanted to say real quick. Officer Ahmad, you can go ahead a little bit more. I got another.
I was going to say also, that was actually a good point too. We always have to credit the Most High for anything that we do, any victory that we have, any blessings. We couldn't have done it by ourselves, right? It was the Most High, right? Like I said, the Most High is with us. Who could go against us? I know. Example. Matter of fact, let me get it real quickly. All right, let me get that Numbers chapter 14 and verse 7. Numbers chapter 14 verse 7. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. So, this is a prime example. This is not talking about Haiti, of course, but it's a prime example of the Most High being with us, right, and blessing us, right? Verse 8, if the Most High delight in us, then he will bring us into this land. So that's if only the Most High was with you, that you'll be blessed with that land, right? And look at Haiti, for example, how we actually conquered, how we got our independence. It was because of the Most High, right? We couldn't have done it without the Most High, right? Because, and it was written in the scriptures as prophecy that the Most High would actually, as a blessing to the Levites, right? But now, we still, like, you look at Haiti, we conquered, we got our independence in Haiti, but they still on a low state because we still ain't keep the commandments, right? It still was a curse that was put on us, but we still need to actually understand that it was the Most High and the promise that he gave us, right? The Most High is actually a man of his word.
Con.
That was it. Was that it on Deuteronomy 33?
Con. So I want to say something on that. So if you're going back in history, like when Moses was going to war with the other enemy, right? when Moses, when the Levites, Moses was had the rock in his hand, right? Whenever he held his hands up, right, the wind up went in the wall. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Most High was always with the Levites.
Right.
I mean, with Israel. I mean, like, you know, the Most High always find a way to protect us whenever something like that occurs. But also, what I'm trying to say is, we by the Haitian getting their independence, it's like we also read in the book of Maccabees, chapter 5. It's like that spirit right there. It's like it's similar to what happened to us in Haiti. You see what I'm saying? It's like read the whole.
I said that, you know, when you look at the Maccabean revolt, in that
Right.
spark the Hasmonean dynasty,
Come.
you know, this is just speculation. The way it happened is like the same way the Haitian Revolution happened. It's like the same way, the same tactic, the same. It's like as if it's the same people coming back again to do the same work again.
That's crazy.
When you look at it, when you look at the story and you get the historical references, you see it mirror each other down to the T. And we know, according to the Bible, there's reincarnation. Am I gonna go out and say that? So I gotta do the official class. But
of course,
the same way that Maccabean revolt happened, the same way the tactics they use is the same way it happened in Haiti. The same way, same thing, historically. So you know, I'm happy that you said that. You know, that's true. I noticed that too.
Yeah. Oh,
let me get this other reference, because you know, a little bit more before we finish up. So we're gonna read something called the 1804 Haiti massacre, right? That goes a little bit more about smiting the loins of him that hate him. Now, if you call yourself so-called Haitian, or you keep screaming that you leave out, you don't know your history, man. Just like, you know, Benjamin, you should know your history. This helps you relate. When you go out and teach your people, it helps you relate. So you're just not screaming something you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You gotta go read and know your information regarding your tribe. Whether you Judah, whether you Dan, whether you Manasseh, Asher, Naphtali, you gotta know your history. So you'll be able to relate on that level with your people, or they're just gonna brush you off. So the 1804 Haiti massacre. The 1804 Haitian massacre was an event that involved the execution of remaining French troops and settlers in Haiti. So this happened after we got our independence. So it wasn't done yet. Just like the Most High told us when we get into the land of Canaan, what did he tell us to do with the inhabitants? He told us to exterminate, Khan.
Yep, Khan.
He told us to exterminate. He didn't tell us to leave anybody behind or anything like that. Because if you leave somebody behind, there'll always be a chance they'll rise up against you.
Khan.
The execution of the remaining French troops and settlers in Haiti at the end of the Haitian Revolution by soldiers, mostly former slaves, under the orders of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, which is one of the greatest, like Captain Ahhad said, one of the greatest generals in the Western Hemisphere I've ever seen. Until Yahawah shall come over here and blow up America.
God. Oh, praise.
You never know. He got been Judas Maccabees. You never know.
Hey, for real.
Yeah, you never know. After the French troops fled in the late 1803, they did not concede defeat. A small contingent of troops relocated to Santo Domingo and threatened to reinvade and annihilate the back population. So the French wanted to circle back and U-turn and come back and later on to get us and destroy us. So Dessalines soon learned of these plans and as well as support from white colonists for the recent French expedition. In this context, he ordered the execution of people who had taken an active part in a different massacres and assassinations. So he ordered, listen, coup d'etat, bouleta, all the blood. This is where we get coup d'etat and bouleta right here. This is where we get it from.
Yeah, man.
Eyewitness accounts of the massacre described imprisonment and killings of whites who had been friendly and sympathetic to black slaves. So even the good ones had to go. Now, when you see our people that want to hang on to these white people, you know, that's why I feel more ashamed. If you Haitian, you claim you Haitian. You claim you the Zoe-life. This is Zoe-life. This is Zoe-life right here. You cannot be talking about you Haitian, you this, and that, and you love white people. Because that's not in our history. Because if we love the white people, we'll still be picking okra in the cotton fields to this day.
Bro, they know that.
Yeah, you know, that's crazy.
You're probably Moon Blanc. They already know that.
Yep. Exactly.
Between 3,000 to 5,000 people were killed. Nicholas A. Robbins and Adam Jones theorized that executions were a genocide of the subaltern, in which an oppressed group uses genocidal means to destroy its oppressors. But scholars have countered their theory by claiming that it does not meet legal definition of genocide, which requires the executioners to have a specific intent to rid themselves of the white population, with no other reasonable interference. The existence of the existence of other compelling justifications, namely the threat of reinvasion and resentment of slavery in 1802, will not satisfy this. So this is what the scriptures talk about: smite the loins of them that hate us, man. This is the spirit our people once had, and this is the spirit that we need to have. A lot of times they keep saying, so-called Levites, we don't know how to fight, blah blah blah. We actually don't forsake the Levite. Listen, we did the work already, and
Listen, they better know, Cap.
Yahawah give us the order,
babies right here,
and he tells us to go get them. We vibing, but we see through the history that we didn't take oppression lightly. We didn't take oppression. Now our people is comfortable with oppression. We can't be comfortable with oppression because revolution is in our blood. Revolution was so much in our blood. What did we do after we get our independence? We went to go help some of the other tribes to get their independence. You understand?
That's a fact.
I believe that we were sending to the U.S. and I gotta get that history, man. We were sending troops to the U.S. to help some of our brethren here as well, historically.
We did. We even helped the Brazil Asher, right? We have Asher out. We have so many Northern Kingdom out. Like we have the Mexican. We have the Mexican out too.
God, we were saying that earlier. Even Guyana, we sent troops out there. We had a major hand in that independence there as well. So before we wrap it up, I want you to get Malachi 2 on Priest Officer Tazalot. I want you to go over that Malachi chapter 2. Because we identify who the Father Levi is. We identify the blessing, some of the historical events. We need to understand why we're in the bottom still. Because we have this rich history. One thing that anybody can say, the two tribes that never have a problem gathering themselves together is Issachar and the so-called Haitian man. The minute they find out you Haitian, listen, they bring you home, you get the stones on, you get the pricklies, and you go and marry somebody else. You get involved with them.
You see it, bro. I
have no issue gathering together. They probably met each other for 3 seconds. They're already best buddies.
Right.
That's just the spirit.
That's true.
We need to have a whole nation, though. That spirit has a whole nation.
That's a fact, yo.
So, Officer Ahmad, go ahead and get that Malachi for Priest Officer Tazalot.
Malachi chapter
2.
You want me to start at 1?
Come, you can start at 1.
Come, Book of Malachi chapter 2, verse 1. And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you.
Right. So the priest, as you know, it's like the priest, as you know, it's the so-called Haitian, right? So that was for us to keep the laws and commandments of the Most High. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. If ye will not hear, and if ye will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name, said the Most High of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea.
Right. Go ahead.
Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart.
Right, as you can see, like the Most High said, he's already cursed us, right? That's why we're at the bottom right now, the so-called Haitians, right? Even like Captain was breaking down earlier, like the so-called Haitian, we came to America, we got bullied on by our own brother, by not knowing who we are. You know what I'm saying? This is a curse. That's part of the curse. Like we go to Haiti, we eat certain things that's not actually, it's not healthy for ourselves, right? Because we the one that was to feel most side. The law is supposed to be for us, but we decided to go against that. Start following what our brother was doing, and actually put us in the most baseline of life, of state of mind. Go ahead, keep going out.
Right. And the fact that he said he cursed our blessings, and he blessed us with Haiti and the independence we had in Haiti. And we
Right.
see Levites still coming here for a better life, to America
Right.
for a better life.
Right. They think America is the Mecca of all things. It's the land of, that's wrong. Really, if we knew better, we would stay in Haiti. We would, the prophet God said, we would better ourselves, man. Keep the laws over there and not worry about these Babylon right here, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Verse 3.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces.
What you see that? It said the Most High. It says it's gonna corrupt your seed. Your own kids gonna be corrupted, right? That's why we in the street, right? What do we call ourselves in the streets now, right? Like we the real Zoes, but them brothers call themselves what Zoes also, right? But what they doing? They're doing something that's opposite than what it's supposed to be doing. We the bones, man. We the real bones because we kept the laws and commandments of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I wish our brother could do the same thing. Most High willing, our brothers would actually hear us and do the same thing that we doing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like our seed is corrupted, man. And our job as the priesthood is coming back on the earth again is to teach our brothers and sisters how to keep the laws and commandments. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts, and one shall take you away with it.
Wow.
Verse 4.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. And you shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, said the Lord of hosts.
Covenant is supposed to be with the Levites, the so-called Haitians, right? We're supposed to covenant, the contract, right? The Most High had it with us to keep the commandments and to minister unto our brothers and sisters, man, of the 12 tribes of Israel, our brothers. That was our job, right? But of course, we went astray from the Most High, not keeping the laws and commandments. So this is what happened. Keep going, brother. It's going to show you in the scripture.
We went from teaching the law to not knowing any of the law.
Exactly. We at the bottom. At the bottom of that too.
Verse 5. Verse 5. My covenant was with him of life and peace. And I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me.
That is. That's again right there. That's one slide. I'm gonna go back to what scripture I believe that's in Deuteronomy, right? Where what it shows that when Moses came back, right? See all of Israel. It says the one that want to keep the laws of God, come on this side. See all the Levites went straight to that side. You feel me? That's the fear, because the Haitian have the fear of God. You know what I mean? We got to keep that again. We got to break that fear back. We got to start teaching unto our people. Understand, like the brother says, Lignon fell off us. Gather ourselves together, this should not desire, man. This is our job to show our brothers and sisters, like, you got to start fearing the Lord again, all over again. Go ahead, brother.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 5. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name. Wow. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity, the law of truth was in his mouth.
Right, what's the truth? The commandments of the Most High. That's the law. That was the truth that was in our mouth. We was ministering to our brothers and sisters, right? The Levites, the so-called priesthood, the priesthood of the Most High. Go ahead, brother.
And iniquity was not found in his lips.
We ain't have no sin in our mouth, man. The Most High, like if you go to the book of, you don't have to go there, Numbers 3 and 12, right? The Most High chose the children of Israel, children of Levites, right? To be separate from the children of Israel for a good reason, for that reason right there, right? Just to minister unto the children, to minister unto us, unto our brothers and sisters, to uphold the laws. That's what the Most High says. So like, Cap, I'm sorry, can you get that from Bible Shop? I'm kind of paraphrasing. I don't like to paraphrase like that.
Numbers 3 and 12.
Yeah, that's it.
Come. That was it. Oh, come. Go ahead. You can read the slide. You can read it on my.
Oh, come. Book of Malachi chapter 2 and verse 6. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips.
Come.
He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity.
Right. That's our job. Like we turn many away from their sins. As far as like we the doctors, we the we're the superheroes, right? We don't actually shows our brothers and sisters how. Like we basically what I'm trying to say is from the walk. You ever seen the show Walking Dead, right? This is our job. Wake them up from their sleep, teach them how to
Right.
upload the law again. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I consider us being the superheroes. The real superheroes are what people consider themselves in this world right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I actually have a precept for you too. You know what you
Come.
said is you know it's very heavy. You know, with all of that being said, you know, there's a level of response, just like with the nation of Israel. You know, with the nation of Israel, we have a responsibility because we're a close nation to the Most High God. And not only are we the closest nation to the Most High God, there's a higher. Matter of fact, get Amos 3 and 1 real quick. Get Amos 3 and 1 real quick.
That's right.
Book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Most High has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Right now, the Most High is speaking to us as a nation collectively. Read.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all families of the earth.
Right. So when you go into this verse, the Most High said he only recognizes and acknowledges the children of Israel upon the face of the earth. Now, Loga su Lisa Amos. Bon il says seulement mon peuple Israël li connaît. Soi-disant black américain, jamaïcain, haïtien, mon poyo, natif indien yo. C'est yo même li connaît. So, après ça, il dit, go ahead and read.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
The fact that we're the closest nation to the Most High, the fact that he knows us and recognizes us only, he's going to punish us for our iniquity. Même si seulement nous-mêmes, bon Dieu, qu'on dit la pini nous plus passer l'autre nation sur la terre, que seulement nous-mêmes nous connaissons. Mon haïtien, mon jamaïcain, mon black américain, mon poyo, mon natif fini, c'est nous-mêmes nous connaissons. Parce que maintenant, nous payons les passer toute l'autre nation sur la terre. He puts us above all the nations upon the face of the earth. So he's going to punish us. Now let's examine within the nation of Israel. He pulled closer to him. Let's get that Numbers 3 and 12 for me and get me Leviticus 10 and 3.
This book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 12. Come.
Yeah, go ahead and read Numbers.
We number 3 and 12, right?
Go ahead and read that.
This book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 12. And I, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel.
So he took amongst the children of Israel and did what?
Instead of all the firstborn that opened the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore, the Levites shall be mine. Therefore,
we're the most a special possession amongst all of the 12 tribes of Israel unto the Most High God. You understand? Avant les choisir nous-mêmes, dans le temps, tout l'autre tribu, les choisir nous-mêmes haïtiens. Mais raison, on dit à pénis nous comme ça. Parce que il y a un choix. Il y a un choix pour choisir black américain, jamaïcain, Puerto Rican, Mexicain, jamaïcain, dominicain, mais ils choisissent nous-mêmes haïtiens. Pour mettre nos pieds en l'air par l'autre tribu. Now go ahead and give me Leviticus 3. With being that close to the Most High, there's a responsibility. Not only, with the nation of Israel, we're closest to the Most High, we have a responsibility. We got to represent. We got to live up to that standard that was given. Now, within the nation of Israel, it was given a certain standard. This is why we're not going to excel until we come back. We're not going to excel. We're not going to excel. That's why the Most High talks about a different purging process in Malachi chapter 3. And that's coming. Because imagine he going to purge the nation of Israel, but there's going to be a special purging amongst our own tribe. Until Malachi 3 and 3, he said that. We don't got to get there. But he said he's going to sit down and purge the sons of Levi like silver. That's a tough process. Because you purge them with fire. Go ahead and read.
Book of Leviticus chapter 10, verse 3. And Moses said unto Aaron,
what did he say unto Aaron?
This is it that the Most High spake.
This is what the Most High said. This, saying,
I will be sanctified in them that
So when
come
you say
nigh
sanctified,
me.
he's gonna be set apart. He's gonna be respected. So bon Dieu choisit nous l'idée, si nous avons suivre lui, si nous avons chita bon côté lui, pour nous respecter Jean, il dit nous pour respecter lui. Kebe l'ordre lui, kebe règlement lui, et kebe commandement lui. Si nous voulons être bon Dieu, nous besoin kebe l'ordre lui. Si vous avez chita bon côté bon Dieu, si vous avez agir bien avec bon Dieu, pas kebe l'ordre là, bon Dieu a tout yo. Go ahead.
Oui.
Come. I will be sanctified in them that come nigh me.
So the closer you are with the Most High, you're gonna have to be even more on your P's and Q's. Even when it's in the truth, a lot of times brothers come in the truth, they want to play with the Most High. They get the woman that they've been praying for and crying for on Instagram, you know, and then they fall off. And now the Most High turn them to a homosexual, and they don't even got the woman no more. Now they're in the world again, you know, or they lose that job that they were crying about, or they get the car that brand new 2022 Camaro. They come. They say they're gonna come every Shabbat. They don't come every Shabbat. Now the car blow up on I-95 or something. Because the closer you are with the Most High, there's a level of responsibility. There's a level of responsibility you gotta have, and that's something that we gotta be mindful of what we ask. Right? Everybody want to get the precepts. Everybody want to be the top teacher and the top. Everybody want to be a priest and general and captain because it sounds good. It's not all good because Aaron's sons were very high ranked. But the Most High smote them with fire the minute they want to burn Blue Nile in the tabernacle. And Aaron wasn't even allowed to cry for his sons. That's what it means to be close to the Most High. Moses not entering into the land because of a mix up of words. That's what it means to be close to the Most High God, man. One little mistake could cost you it. David committed adultery and murdered this damn heathen. What did that cost him? For him, the Most High made his son sleep with his wives and made him suffer for the rest of his life for that until he died. Even though the Most High still loved David, David had to go through it. That's what it means to be close to the Most High God. There's a certain level of responsibility you got to walk towards with the Most High God. You can't be your average Joe at that point. You got to change up your own mind. So, like your officer, go ahead.
And before all the people, I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace.
That's it. You go right back, bro, officer.
Book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth.
There it is. It says the priest's lips, right? Which is still called Haitian. But this is going to say, if we don't get no less long, qu'est-ce qui no less long? Commandement de bon Dieu pour nous kembe. Our brothers and sisters supposed to come pour no less long bouche nous. Pour nous montrer au qui Jean pour kembe loi de bon Dieu. Right? That's on bec qui important les Haitian. You know, ça son bec qui vraiment important pour nous kembe la loi de bon Dieu. Ça c'est job ou même. Bon Dieu choisit ou même. Ça c'est job ou can't. So what on the earth right now, I'm not consider ça un job. They don't want you to pas job. Ça c'est job. Bon Dieu bon ça carrément. Right? C'est pas ou pour une raison pour montrer fort au adversaire ou qui je peux kembe la loi de mon Dieu. Ça sont bien important lié. Chercher connaître sous like if you don't have nobody around you, come around godly brothers, man, that keep the laws of the Most High, who can teach you how to hold on to the laws of God, man. This is our job, and we here for you, teach you how to keep the laws of the Most High. That's like the scripture says, a priest shall keep knowledge. What's the knowledge? The statute, love, and commandment of the Most High. You know, we got to. It's time, brothers. Like as you can see, prophecies unfolding in front of our eyes, man. Look what's going on around Russia right now. Look what's going on around the world. Keep the laws of God, man. We're here for you. You know, was that it, brother?
No, that was me. For he is the messenger of the Lords of hosts.
See that? We're the messengers, man. Our job is to show you. If you fell short, we show out now, but that's not how you're supposed to do. That's not how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to do the laws, man. If you read the book of Barak 4:1, it shows you if you don't keep the laws of God, what's gonna happen to you? Either life or death. Which one would you gonna pick, brother? Brother and sister? Which one you gonna choose? Life or death? I pick life by keeping the laws and commandment of God.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Verse 8. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted covenant of Levi, said the Most High of hosts.
See, this is where we fell short at. The Levites fell short on that end, man. They corrupted the contract the Most High give us. We corrupted it. We start following false idols. Start getting into voodooism. Start getting into voodoo. You know what I'm saying? Hold anger against your own brother. Start killing each other over voodoo. Turn you into donkey. You know what I'm saying? So they say. You know what I'm saying?
If I could, you know, and the truth, some of you niggas got weak, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you niggas got weak. Because as a Levite, you know, a lot of you be crying, talking about you Levites and priests and all that nonsense. Your job and your loyalty is to the Most High God. That's what your loyalty is towards.
Facts.
A lot of you be scared to speak the law of the Most High God. A lot of you be scared to hold. You know, one thing the Most High say in the scriptures that caught me is that He loved judgment. Because you know the Most High love judgment, you need to love judgment, and that should let you know to stay on the right hand of the Most High God. Stay on His good side. A lot of you be so little chihuahuas and poodles under men in the truth, man. You got to stop being little chihuahuas in the truth and be a representative of the Most High. And that's not only for Levites, but that go for all the 12 tribes of Israel. Stop being little poodles and chihuahuas in the truth. If you say you're a prophet of the Most High, an officer, a captain, or a priest of the Most High, hold down to the laws of the Most High God. Don't justify nobody that's going contrary to the Most High God. Because a lot of you brothers be doing that, man. But you want to be the priest of the Most High God. You want to be service of the Most High God. You understand? You got to choose. Are you going to serve the Most High or are you going to serve man? Right. You see that. I see that a lot. I've been in the truth for 7 years. You'll see that. You know, brothers that you know, it make me ashamed. So I want to say I'm a Canaanite. Some of you so-called Haitian brothers, y'all don't hold it down, bro. Y'all want to be lovers of men instead of being the representative of the Most High God. You want to justify people when they sin and evil instead of speaking what the law says. And that's your job. From a month old and up, your job is learning the law, statutes, and commandments until you 25 and step into your ministry, according to Numbers 8 chapter. Numbers the 8th chapter, you your ministry at 25 to 50. Within that time, that's when you get active and do your thing. I believe David changed it to 20. But your job, that's why we ain't go to war like that. Your whole job is to learning the service of the Most High and act on doing the service of the Most High. Some of y'all be playing games. And that's why Israel be believing all this mumsy nonsense. Israel be believing on this New Testament only, Old Testament only. They believe that you can't eat lamb with cheese. All these false altars come because we're supposed to be teaching the law. Right. We can't teach it because we act like vagabonds all the time. Some of y'all be acting like vagabonds and you want to teach the law. Some of y'all want to be little chihuahuas for y'all women in the truth, but you want to teach the law. The Most High is not going to reveal His understanding to you if you want to be little chihuahuas in the truth. It's a lot.
And I noticed Levites they don't want to change at times too because they care about what others think about them. You know, that's how Levites is. Levites, you know, they be like, said Jacob and Babylon, you know, I want her to be mad at me. I don't want her, my tontu, what she thinks about this, right? Because I remember, I know somebody that was actually trying to bring their parents into the truth and all, explain the scriptures and everything. They start to understand. They're like, oh, okay. But they know that if they go to church, they're going to talk bad on them. So they was like, you know what? You know, I can't do what y'all doing. I'm like, I mean, that's you choosing men over the Most High at this point, right? Because you knew the truth. You know who you are. You know that you're an Israelite. You know you're supposed to be keeping the commandment, but you're afraid of what others might say about you. And that's how Levites is for real, right? If they see another Levite talking about them, they don't want to change because of that, because they don't want the other Levite to judge them, right? Or it could be anybody in general. You know, that's something I see a lot.
No, you're right on that, man. I look at it like this. It's like it's like our people, right? We'll say we have the direction. This is the direction of life, right? So you got to take the stairs, right? But what we're doing is go to the elevator instead and going to the stairs where the actual instructions say if you take the stairs, you're gonna survive. But you want to take the shortcut of life. Right. You know what I mean? That ain't it, man. The Most High give you life or death. The Lord's commandment. This is your life. The Bible is your lifeline. You know what I mean?
Bible's your
It's crazy, man.
Finish up that Malachi so we can get ready to close out.
Verse 9. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law.
Right? As you can see, it's like it said the most times He's gonna keep us at the base. That's at the bottom. The children of it's speaking right here. It's speaking about the priesthood. That's the Levites. If you look, what they call us the third world country, right? That's so-called Haitian. They call us the third world country. What that president call us? The SHIT, right? What's his name? I've got dude named the president. That was
President in Haiti.
Donald Trump.
Man, the one that free Kodak.
Oh, Donald Trump.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody calls the shithole country, man. You know, that's going off, man. That's what they consider us to be in the shithole country. But really, you know, that's a curse. You know, if you read the book of Deuteronomy 28, it shows you the curse and what was going to be under. By not keeping the laws of God, that's what happened to us, you know? Yeah, go ahead, bro. Let's finish it.
I feel like I've been hearing pray for Haiti for like the longest.
Pray for Haiti.
Haitians don't even pray for Haiti, man.
They don't.
They don't care about their own people. Right. When you tell Haiti, even though Haiti, why don't you go back? They act like it's like Alcatraz prison if they go back to Haiti. And somebody want to kidnap them, they go back to Haiti. Right. You know, like the scripture says, the Most High said will be base and compatible, not only in the world but in the truth. You know, we get disrespected in the truth because of our obedience to the Most High God.
Right.
I think that was it though. But unless you want to read the whole chapter.
No. What'd you stop at? 9
verse.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. Yeah, is there any questions in the chat? Anybody want to ask us any questions? It don't have to be about the topic. No one answer it. We'll give it about 2 minutes. Anybody have a
Well, while we waiting, I want to say something. Like, I look at this like this was very fruitful for our people, right? Because usually in school, what our people learn, they learn from history, middle school or high school, what they learned prior to transatlantic slavery, right? Mm-hmm. We learned that what do we know? What we call ourselves? Who are we? Besides from 1600, from the 1600, you know. This is what I'm saying. Like, why do we stop there? Besides the 1600, 1619, however they got our history from, like. That's what I'm basically saying. Is like this was very fruitful to show our people that we have nationality, right? Not just the Haitians, so for African Americans, to other nations. We in the Bible. Our history is actually in the Bible.
That's right.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying though. Like, because if you ask them what's the nationality, most of them consider themselves being Africa. If I'm African. But we got over 50 countries in Africa, you know. That's what is very important as a Levi, not just Levi, children of Israel, to teach our people the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's over 50 countries in that continent, and over 1,500 dialect over there too. Which language were you speaking before that? Right. You know what I mean? What was you wearing? What kind of food was you eating? What was the dietary law? You know, what was the sister wearing? High heels? You know what I'm saying? Like certain things like that. That's what's very important, man, for us to be in the street, you know what I'm saying? And Luke 14:23 says we're supposed to go in the highways and edges to teach our people, come back to the laws of God again, man. You know, that's very important. That's why I love doing the work of the Most High, you know?
Right. They love unity, but they're going the wrong way with it, right? They're
going the wrong way with it.
They don't go to the Most High with the unity. Right. It's written in the flag, unity, right?
Right, exactly. But do the opposite. Man, for real. What's that, Isaiah 84? Like they gather, but not gathering, not by me, by a whole another thing. That's going up. Now people going up, man.
But we'll give it another minute, though. You know, if there's any questions anybody want to have about any book in the scriptures, prophecy, parables, understanding, you go ahead and add it in the chat. We'll answer it right now to the best of our ability. Our praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We'll answer that question. Anybody have any questions in the chat? Go ahead and answer that question.
Let me see what we got.
You know, scripture said with a stammering tongue in another language you teach these people. You know, that's why it's powerful that, you know, Most High scattered amongst our 12 tribes of Israel with a Some of us speak Spanish. Some of us speak Patois, like Lashuan. Some of us, speaking all types of languages. The language, believe it or not, language helps like people come closer.
What you doing?
Helps people come together a little closer. That's why a lot of times when so-called Haitian people hear you speak Creole, it's like you automatically just take down that wall of separation. You understand?
Right.
So that's why it's very important for us, and it's true to see it as a tool. A lot of times, we speak Creole and we joke and etc. But you look at it as a tool because we know that's not our original language. Hebrew is our original language. Spanish is not our original language. Portuguese and etc. But these are tools that we use to help us do the job a little bit easier. That's how you got to look at it. Me myself, if I have children, if the Most High don't send Yahawashi, they're gonna learn Creole. They're gonna know it very well.
Definitely.
So they'll be able to effectively teach their people. Because who knows if we're going to be here for another 200 years or 100 years, 150 years, we don't know. But we got to look at it as a tool, to reach our people, not as a culture, not as a heritage, but like a tool, to be able to teach our people. So if there's not any questions, any concerns, I want to say barak.
Yahawashi.
Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom to the scattered abroad. I want to say, please don't be $DLOZ, $DLOZ MDC, DLOZ Augusta, Georgia, and also Israel.
We can put it on the chat.
Also, subscribe to Miami Dade Zion Haiti. We are opening shop in Haiti. We're not going to be doing classes because I know some brothers out there, they just do classes all day. You're going to see camp videos. You're going to see these French children bowing down and kissing boots in Haiti. You're going to see people getting in Haiti. You're going to see white Jesus being stomped in Haiti. You're going to see the world being killed out there. Most High willing, if brothers are not able to come down here from Haiti, we'll be keeping the peace over there a lot. So there'll be footage.
Oh, praises.
So please like, share, and subscribe to Miami Dade Zion, which is TheeLightOfzion in Haiti.
Wait. One thing, it's not on the LOZ channels, right? Like if you go to LOZ and channels,
it should be. If it's not, it's in the Dade County channel.
Okay, come.
You'll be able to see it there.
So this one's different than the other. This one's different than the one at the videos, huh?
Yeah, this one is actually gonna be in Haiti, where brothers
IT.
Yeah, next month. So we open the shop next month. I believe in that weekend of June 24th.
Come.
So LOZ Haiti gonna be open and
praise.
Subscribe. Any family that want to commune with us in Haiti, or you have any relatives that don't have nowhere to come commune with that, please, have them reach out to me. My name is Captain Ahhad. My information is in the channels information for Miami Dade County. So I'm the one that'll be overseeing Haiti as well. If you have any questions for LOZ Augusta, you can contact myself, Officer Hamal, or Captain Zakar. Any questions for Miami Dade County, you can also contact me as well. Let's build Israel. All right? I'm going to say, Kum Yashallah, Shalom.
Shalom. Come.